Okay. Officially, good evening. Um, During this week, we're gonna be studying this important topic that is called learning factors. Okay, learning factors, which is a very interesting topic for taking into account when we are teaching. Okay, because we all know that when we are learning, especially another language, we know that there are some factors that involves, learning. So we're going to study them. We're going to learn some aspects that affects learning, and also we're going to offer some solutions for that. So hopefully you're ready. Um, for this week, we have this introduction that it says, in the learning process, there are some barriers that affect the learning process. In this class, we're going to study and think about the aspects, I'm sorry, that affect the learning process through the time. We're going to offer solutions for problems as well. So it's not just to think about the problem, but we're going to offer some solutions to the problem, okay? So here we have some aspects, okay, about the topic that it says intelligence, attitude, personality, motivation, and attitude, which is different than aptitude, learner preferences, learner beliefs, age, and acquisitions, okay? So we're gonna be discussing all of them, okay? So I hopefully that you participate and also offer some solutions, because that's the important part of this class. It's not just presenting the topic, but also giving and offering some solutions, and also making you think about the solutions about this problem. So one of the things that we have here is that think about the importance of factors that affect the learning process. Most of the time, we think about some superficial problems that we have, that affects learning. Some of them, like right now, for example, based on the things that are going on, is basically internet connection, that students don't have enough resources, stuff like that, right? Motivation, maybe it can be connectivity and all those aspects that are commonly known, you know. So in this class, we're gonna discuss all these aspects, and we're going to offer, a solution or a possible solution for this. So the first question, it says, what factors affect learning? Do everybody learn at the same speed? This second question is really, really, really good, because it is taking us to the um, learning styles, okay? So right now, what we're gonna do is this. We're going to work in small groups, and we're going to discuss these two questions, okay? The first one says, what factors affect learning? And the second question, that says, do everybody learn at the same speed? All right. So what I'm gonna do right now is this. I'm going to create some groups. Let me see. I'm going to create 4 groups of 2 to 3 people, and I want you to discuss these two questions, okay? I'm gonna give you 5 minutes for discussing, all right? So let's go on.
Osvaldo and Esther. Okay, who wants to start?
Okay, if you want to, you can start with your statement. What factors
Uh,
affect learning?
okay, according to I was read before uh, about this topic, and some of the factors that can affect the learning process. It can be the age of the students, also their own motivation, and I think it also depends of the attitude that the teacher shows to the students. So if he entered to the classroom with a face of the discouragement or, boredom, uh, he or she will transmit the same feelings to he or her students, and the students will feel without desire to learn, also discouraged. So I think
Yeah,
that.
it is really interesting. Esther, you want to say your point of view about this question?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
I cannot hear you very well because it's raining a lot here.
Here
I
too.
said if you want to say your point of view about the first question, what factors affect learning?
Okay, if we talk about, I have read the ones that the teacher provide us, but um, I think one of the most important it could be like motivations. You know, it
Yeah.
depends of their parents and the teacher, because they are like the people who is in charge of their students, right? So maybe when someone doesn't want to work or doesn't want to do homeworks, it depends of their parents, because maybe their parents are not paying attention to them, and or they are not helping them, or the teacher who who is in charge of them in the classroom. The teacher is not doing his his or her job in a in an interesting
I
way.
learned the same speed because yeah, because if we take into account the learning style, so we can take advantage of that, but not everybody will learn at the same speed, because if I am a kinesthetic learner, I have to create, like if the teacher is explaining something like a concept of the topic. So the students,
Right.
the kinesthetic student had to create their own, his own or her own concept about what the teacher is saying, right? So, and if there is a auditory learner, he will got the idea just listen or hearing what the teacher is explaining, right? So that
Exactly.
is very important, I think, for the learning process.
Exactly. That's right. I think in the same way as you do. Not everybody learn the same way. Some guys are like in the classroom and you're teaching a topic and they got it like this, super, super fast. And some other
Mhm.
guys, they're going kind of more, slower, but they're learning. That they learn slower than others doesn't mean that they are not smart. And
Yeah.
I'm like kind of struggling with this term, the smart guys, because I think that everybody in the classroom is smart, but we are smart in so many different ways. Because you, Paola, you can be really nice in kinesthetic activities as you mentioned before, but maybe you don't really have that ability to grasp the knowledge from the speech of a teacher. So some of
Yeah.
us learn by doing things, some of us learn by listening, by watching, So yeah, I think your answer is absolutely right. Everybody has many different ways of or different speeds of learning. But I want to ask you
Yeah.
another question. I want to ask you another question now that we're talking about this. If you were a teacher, what would you do with your students if you are aware that they do not learn at the same speed?
Well, in this point, what I would do is maybe take everything like all this learning style, like if there are visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, and all that styles. So what I would do is like have like PowerPoint presentations or audios or like something which they can experiment the things, like if I'm teaching concepts or if I'm doing something that is a little bit difficult for them just by listening. What I will do is like have many things which they can experiment, like if they are listening auditory learners, so they can experiment in that way and learn the things by that way. And if there are kinesthetic learners, they can like learn the things by their way. So, but everybody will be working around the topic that we are teaching, right? So that's what
Exactly. That would be awesome because we can give the chance to everybody to do something in what they're good at, right?
yeah.
So that's
And
great.
you? And you?
Uh, I would do kind of the same as you, and I'm kind of ashamed because I am answering kind of in the same way as you with the same points. But yeah,
No, you
yeah.
can add
So
more detail.
so yeah, I would do the same. I would create integrated activities in which uh, they can develop at least two of those skills. They can develop maybe like listening and writing and speaking and doing things. So I would do kind of the same. Yeah,
Okay, that's nice.
awesome.
So I don't have how much time we have to take.
I don't know. Listen.
We have
Okay,
one
you want
more
to?
minute.
Yeah, that's right. Is it raining over there?
So
Okay, so we're waiting until everybody like comes back. All right. So here, we have like some factors that affect learning. Some of you, well, I was listening that some of you were taking into account um, learning styles, right? And learning styles are some of the important factors that basically affect learning. Because if I just focus on reading, for example, then I'm just taking advantage of those students that learn by reading, you know? So what should I do when I'm teaching? Well, I have to think about those students that learn by reading, but also I have to think about those students, I'm sorry, that learns by seeing, and also I have to think about those students that learns by doing. So when I when I think about when I think about those students that learns by doing, for example, then in a virtual class, for example, I can just ask for simple things like standing up, like writing on the chat, you know, stuff like that. But most of the time, when I'm talking about kinesthetic learning, it involves more things like standing up, like movements, you know. So when I'm talking about kinesthetic learning, I'm referring to those things. So yeah, that's what I meant. All right, now, what I want you to do is this. What I want you to do is to think about these important factors that are motivation, gender, age, social economic status, level of proficiency. So right now, we're gonna have short discussion, okay? We're gonna have a short discussion about factors that affects learning, but take it into account all of those things that I just mentioned, okay? So remember, motivation, gender, age, socioeconomic, socioeconomic status, and level of proficiency. Now here, when I'm talking about level of proficiency, what I meant is like your level of English, okay? So right now we're gonna have a short discussion, okay, about that, but this time we're going to do it based on the information that I just gave you, okay? So let's go. ¿Qué pasó?
So,
What what
Wilbur,
are
would you mind, Wilbur, to start the conversation? I start the last one.
Um, I think, okay. What was the question? I forgot it right away. Sorry.
Um, Teacher, are you there? I think you are there. Can
yes
you
I yes I am.
you repeat the main question?
Yeah, what I'm saying is like taking into account all these aspects that I have here in the presentation, which are motivation, gender, age, socioeconomic status, level of proficiency. What for you? What out of the what what factors affect learning based off the things that I have here? You know, and according to our reality.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, talking about the learning process, I think some of the things that really affect to the students in this case, in our reality, first of all, is about the motivation. I think to the students, right? Most of the time, the students are not getting those kind of motivation that it requires in order to achieve something or try to have something like a goal. Um, the other thing is is like the economic or the financial statement of the people, because as you know, in our reality, it's the people is not like the average, not the average, not like having a good economic statement. So when they are going, for example, if they want to go to university, some of the problems that they need to get a job in order to pay the month of the university, and even some of them they just finish the high school, and after that, the students is going to work. I don't know, and a gas station or something like that. So that's something that really like affect the students in the learning process too. Uh, most of it is like the economic thing, right? Because they need to.
This is a poor country.
Yeah, great point. There. Go ahead, Paola, with the level of proficiency or genre. You can choose some of them.
Okay, I want to talk about the age. It's really important to think about it because you know that as we mentioned before in the previous conversation that we have, everyone learn in a different way. So kids and adolescents and adults learn in a different way. Is easiest to children to acquire a new language and learn about grammar, do activities. Uh, uh, I don't know how to say that, but it's different. We all learn in different ways. So if we have a group of students, and if we have a girl or a boy that is not in that level, so we have to be very careful to apply techniques and methods that can, um, how can I say that, servir o pueden ser aplicados to all the students. And I don't know what else to say.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I want to say something about it. For example, there are some schools here in El Salvador who have students like with different ages. For example, there are students in a classroom. This is called in Spanish. This is called like no recuerdo cómo es que le llaman a esto.
Sobre edad.
No, cuando tienen a estudiantes de diferentes edades en un solo. But the school is like that. Osvaldo, I don't know if you remember when we went to translate this year.
Yes.
Aha, people from there, I remember that they told me that they have like the fifth, sixth, and seventh grade in the same classroom. So I was like, what? Because you know that the a kid who is with
This career in this, if you want to learn a new language, you have to memorize, and the ages of this of those kind of people, for the ages, they cannot do it, they cannot memorize, is my
All right,
opinion. Yeah.
all right, I understand. So I think all of us have mentioned really important stuff. I don't know if you want to add something, Wilbur, maybe. Oh, we're going back to the
Yeah.
Okay, so we have like 60 more seconds for discussing, and then we go back. All right. So we're gonna wait for the rest to join the, the phone call. Well, not the phone call, just the video conference, and then we continue with the presentation. Okay, some of you were mentioning that motivation was an important aspect of learning, and that's true, as well as age. You know, some of you were mentioning that the age has something to do when it comes to learning. Now, I'm sorry. Now you probably have thought about kids, you know, and you probably have thought about the comparison between kids and adults. Okay, so right now we're gonna learn about the differences. Okay, so here we have some theory about the differences between kids or like children and adults. So we're gonna read a little bit. Esther, can you help me with the reading, please?
Sure. Second language. Learners are different. They learn with different speed and different results. There are many explanations for that issue. The general factors that influence second language learning are age, aptitude, and intelligence, cognitive styles, attitudes, motivation, and personality. The aim of this article is to pretend these factors and their contribution to success or failure in language learning.
Okay, thank you very much. So maybe some of you have heard that kids learn faster than adults. However, that's not the point, right? Like in this article or in this information, we're going to learn that sometimes it's not about the age only, okay? It matters about the attitude, also the intelligence, and the cognitive styles, right? Also about the motivation and personality. Now, why is personality important? Well, when you're learning a second language, you know that you have to practice, right? Then, if you have to practice, then you know that you cannot be like very passive. You know what I mean? Like when you're learning English, for example, then that means that you have to practice. Okay, that means that you have to talk and you have to show up somehow the vocabulary that you have learned. So based on that, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult, but what really matters is like how you want to learn. You know what I mean? Like how motivated are you to learn? Okay, because most of the time we have heard teachers and people saying that kids learn fast, you know, and yeah, that's true, but it depends of the environment. Imagine that if I take you right now in a helicopter, okay, I'll take all of you on a helicopter and I throw you guys on a, let's say that we're going to New York, okay, and imagine that nobody speaks Spanish in New York, okay. So then I throw you to New York, all right? So how would you like figure out? Well, then like when you are in New York, then you have to figure it out, like right? You have to like think about how you're gonna do it. You're gonna listen, you're gonna pay attention, you're gonna study, and then you're gonna practice, right? Because you're obligated, you're exposed. And that's, you know, that's the important part. It doesn't matter like if you're a kid or an adult, when you're exposed, it means that you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? So when you're learning a second language, it depends of the personality and motivation that you put into it. However, in the theory, it says that there are some other factors, right? So we're gonna learn about that, like step by step. Here we have age, okay, which is one of the factors. So Ezequiel, would you mind helping me to read this part?
Sure.
Age. is one of the factors that influence second language learning. It is generally believed that children are better at languages than adults. However, only the studies conducted in naturalistic learning setting provide the evidence that support these assumptions. Researchers have proved that learners who start learning a foreign language as children achieve a more native-like accent than those who start as adolescents or adults. Liana 1976, Archer, and Garcia 1969, and they are also better in the acquisition of grammar. Parkowski 1980, 1990. On the other hand, the research carried out in formal learning environments give the opposite results. In that in the case of classroom learning, adults appear to be better both in syntax and morphology, while adolescents are the best. Snow and Heinegel only 1978, Fartman 1975, and they also progress faster.
Okay, thank you very much. So in this part, the age, it's relevant, right? Now, in this part of the paragraph, it says that young learners, they can easily get a native accent. However, adults can learn syntax, and morphology faster than kids because when you're learning a second language and when you are aware of the learning process, then you are aware of the rules and all that. Now, kids, they are different because when they are learning a language, they don't think about rules. They basically get used to the rhythm, and also they get used to the system, the system of learning. So according to this research, kids are good at learning, and memorizing and all that, the pronunciation. However, adults are better at learning, and also adolescents are better at learning the grammar part, they're better at that. Okay, so right now, guys, our time is over. I have less than a minute. So can you please join the phone call again because the time is over. So I see you guys in 40 seconds or less than that.